Update: AITAH for letting my ex's mum into my book club and making his fiancé feel dumb. Well, not much has happened, but I thought I'd give an update. Firstly, to all the people telling me why I'd let my ex's mom to my book club, well, it has been 3 years. I hardly ever spoke to Jim and have no feelings about him or his life. He also seemed to feel the same way after the breakup, plus, it's a small town. His parents were also very nice to me, and because they share some of the same hobbies as my Phil, I have to interact sometimes with them when I run into them at the bookstore, nursery, or the restaurant my Phil runs. I honestly didn't think that Amy just asking to be in my club twice a month would make things awkward, as we wouldn't be interacting outside the book club or becoming friends. As for my husband, well, he is mad about how Jim's parents have used my club to take a dump on his fiancée, but he is madder about how Beatrice took a dig at me when she didn't even know the situation. I later apologized to Phil for dragging him into this, and he said that he had decided to end his friendship with Amy. I also decided to ask her to leave my book club, as this was not worth the drama she was bringing to my life. I called Jim up, told him blaming me for his family's behavior was not acceptable, and said I would not communicate with him further about this. I have been more than gracious, and honestly, some of the comments were right to ask me why I was still taking his calls. I guess I need a wake-up call to stop being polite to my ex and his family. Jim, surprisingly, apologized for blaming me and passed the phone to Beatrice. She surprised me more, as she started by apologizing to me for the posts, and admitted that was uncalled for. Also, I got my husband on board for the call too, and he asked her why she was taking digs at me, when she didn't even know me. Beatrice didn't reply to that, and Jim took over the phone and apologized to both of us. I then cut the call and blocked him. I also wanted to get this over with in one setting, so I called Amy and told her that it might be in her best interest to not come into my book club as it was causing problems in her family, albeit very politely. Sorry, the Asian in me cannot bring herself to be rude to elders no matter what. Amy took it in stride and admitted that dragging me into this was not acceptable. She said she would miss my friendship, but she understood if I didn't want to be dragged into her family affairs. She then started to rant about how shallow her son's choice of a woman was and whatnot and tried to explain the situation that happened, but I was done with it, so I excused myself and cut the call. Phil then told me that Beatrice had taken down the post, but he was pissed, so my Phil had already made another post tagging Jim and his family, on how they didn't know how to keep it in the family and were certainly not as classy as they seemed to be if they were slandering other people on Facebook. Needless to say, it was a tiring evening. I guess that would be it. From what little I gathered from Amy's rants, Beatrice was insecure, as when they got together, most people in Jim's circle thought of her as the affair partner, and did not respect her. Plus, she was always self-conscious that Jim was more well-read than her, and I guess Amy mentioning me triggered some old insecurity in her. But then again, how is that my fault? I didn't know her then and I don't know her now. I am very happily married, and I haven't really thought about them in these years, before all this drama. Hopefully, this is the end of it, so I won't be updating anymore.